Hello and welcome to the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We are broadcasting live from Abuja. I am Dennis Adegunloye. Thanks for joining us. The headlines. President Tinubu visits Amsterdam to widen scope of bilateral relations between Nigeria and the Netherlands.
The triangulation of research and development, business and government. So this is something that, we can learn.
Federal government reaffirms that arrangements for first census in Nigeria after 18 years remains on course. And Vice President Kashim Shettima advises Nigeria's judiciary to introduce reforms that will ensure a functional justice system. Today is World Malaria Day, with the global community observing the day with focus on accelerating the fight against the disease for a more equitable world. Here in Abuja, our correspondent Oluseye Adeagbo is at an event to mark the day. Hello, Sheye. Tell us what is happening over there.
Thank you very much, Dennis. I'm actually right here at a LEA Primary School, Jai LEA Primary School in Kadokuchi area of the FCT. It's actually the venue a group has chosen to commemorate this year's World Malaria Day. Now, every year, that is April 25th, every year, is what the day set aside to commemorate or to be observed as the World Malaria Day. World countries across World Health Organization member countries actually instituted this day in 2007. Now, 17 years after this day and the campaign started against malaria, the disease is still seen as a burden to many countries, especially countries in the African region. Now, this year's theme of the World Malaria Day is accelerating the fight against malaria for a more equitable world. And to explain the essence of what this theme is all about, what Nigeria is doing to control the malaria scourge and the disease, I will be joining now an actor in the national control of malaria. Is Dr. Gazama. Thank you very much, Doctor, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Now, this year's theme is on accelerating fight against and to end malaria. Tell us what is the essence of this theme and how is it relating to us in the country?
All right, thank you. So I think this year's theme is apt. Yeah, accelerating fight against malaria for equity, global equity. Now, if you say malaria has been a very important public health problem, especially in Nigeria, which bears the burden of over 25% of the global burden. And of course, as long as malaria still remains a burden in Nigeria, we are unable to achieve our Sustainable Development Goal, which is the UN indicator for measuring, the performance of countries. So for us to be at par with other nations, the elimination of malaria need to be accelerated so that we have an equity in terms of global equity, in terms of nations, communities, and even at family level. So I think that's what informed the theme for this year.
You've actually talked about how the malaria is still a burden to us in Nigeria. Now, I would like to ask, what is the challenges to eradicate the disease in Nigeria and what is happening in FCT?
Yeah, thank you. So right now, I think the country is committed at eliminating the burden of malaria. At the national level, I can't speak for the national, I work with FCT, but again, we work in collaboration. I know we have so many preventive measures like vector control in terms of use of intermittent preventive measures for pregnant women. We use net. We have also use of fumigation, all aimed at vector control. Then we have case management, where we have policies and guidelines where cases are promptly diagnosed using rapid diagnostic test kits before treatment. This will aim at reducing drug resistance and abuse of the drugs. Then we have other measures like environmental sanitation, which is key. In doing that, we reduce the breeding sites for the mosquito vector, which is responsible for the transmission of the plasmodium that is causing the malaria disease.
Now, what is the general message, especially for Nigerians, especially people at the local level on this day?
Yeah, so we have, as an individual, while government does its own, we as individuals have responsibility of ensuring that we use all the preventive measures, keeping our environment clean, make sure the gutters in front of your house is clean, your house is screened, and then the mosquito nets distributed, properly used. And anytime there's a fever or illness, please use the available health facility so that you'll be properly checked and receive appropriate treatment by trained personnel.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate your time. Now, it is also to note that the report of the World Health Organization puts Nigeria at having 27% of the global malaria burden and 31% of the malaria deaths. This is actually a issue of huge concern. But no doubt, actors are actually working to see these narratives change. But this will be a matter of time to confirm how far we've gone when it comes to elimination of malaria in Nigeria. Thank you, Dennis, for joining me.
Yes, many thanks for that. Certainly 27% of the global malaria burden is a huge number, and we should all play our roles to get that figure going down. Thanks, Shea. Now, the federal government says it is prioritizing investments in the education of the girl child and sustaining efforts to reposition Nigeria's health system to meet the health needs of its populace, especially maternal care and contraception. President Bola Tinubu's message at the presentation of the 2024 State of the World Population Report, a document of the United Nations Population Fund in Abuja, says arrangements for the first census in Nigeria after 18 years remains on course. Here again is Oluseye Adeagbo. All right, that report is coming our way subsequently. For now, let's continue on to environmental matters. A downpour last night that lasted several hours has pulled down part of the Suleja custodial facility in Niger State, including its perimeter fence, giving way to the escape of a total of 119 inmates of the facility. A statement by the FCT Command Nigeria Correctional Service indicates that immediate activation of its recapturing mechanisms in conjunction with sister security agencies, which have led to the recapture of 10 fleeing inmates who have been taken into custody while in hot chase to recapture the others. The statement adds that the service is on top of the situation and urges members of the public to go about their businesses without fear or hindrance. The public is further enjoined to look out for the fleeing inmates and report any suspicious movements to the nearest security agencies. Now, 32 ex-offenders have been handed a second chance as entrepreneurs by the Nigerian Correctional Service. Victor Azu reports that the ex-offenders who learned various trades while in custody have been presented with starter packs to enable them to set up and potentially train others.
22-year-old Marvelous Ehimari, a budding hairstylist, found herself in jail. Instead of wallowing in self-pity, she picks herself up and takes advantage of the skills development opportunity at the Correctional Center to perfect her hairstyling skill.
Madam Marvelous Ehimari.
Now, Marvelous is one of the 32 ex-offenders presented with starter packs to help them earn a living and become responsible members of society.
It was my dream to be a professional hairdresser and have a big salon before, but without equipment, it can't come true. But God used the Controller General today to provide part of the equipment for me.
I am hoping to get a job for myself, so I will be able to do it in a normal way.
Controller General of Corrections, Hali Runababa, here represented, therefore wants members of the public to make their reintegration seamless.
I wish to call on all well-meaning Nigerians to wholly accept these reformed citizens, desist from stigmatizing them, and support their progress by patronizing them and their products.
In the meantime, work on the non-custodial arm of the Nigerian Correctional Service is gathering pace. In time, offences not deserving of jail terms will be administered here.
This non-custodial measure has come to play a very huge role of giving them community sentencing, so that not every person that will make their way into our custodial center.
That huge role is the decongestion of custodial centers, long clamored for by actors in the criminal justice system. In Abuja, Victor Azu, NTA News.
You're watching the news at 10 on NTA News 24. More reports in a moment. Stay with us.
From the creeks of the Niger Delta to the breathtaking scenery of the plateau, in noonday and nighttime, we set out to bring to you captivating stories that evoke your emotions. For fascinating documentaries and reports on day-to-day issues with expert analysis, tune in to NTA News24, DSTV Channel 419, GoTV Channel 26, StarTimes Channel 101 and 433, and Free TV Channel 703.
Thanks for staying with us. President Bola Tinubu is in Amsterdam on the invitation of Prime Minister Mark Rutte and is set to officially begin his state visit to the Netherlands today, Thursday, April 25th. State House correspondent Musbao Danmahab is on hand to talk about the scheduled program of the presidents in the Netherlands. And Musbao, by his itinerary, we understand that the president will engage in high-level discussions with the Prime Minister, as well as holding separate meetings with His Royal Majesty King Willem Alexander and Queen Maxima of the Kingdom. Any idea into the prospective issues coming up?
Another potential opportunity for Nigeria and the Kingdom of Netherlands to further widen the scope of the bilateral and trade relations between the two countries. And President Bola Tinubu has been moving from one country to the other on investment drive, inviting foreign investors to come and invest in Nigeria. This is apparently one of the reasons why the PM invited President Bola Tinubu to come over to further see new areas of partnership. And going by the account of the Observatory of Economic Complexity, OEC, as at October 2022, the Netherlands exported 892 million euro worth of goods and imported 32 million euro worth of produce from Nigeria, meaning that the Netherlands is one of the largest business partners of Nigeria. Now, one of the top exports of Netherlands into Nigeria has been petroleum products, and now the PM or the authorities in this country are apparently seeing the future of Nigeria cutting down importation of petroleum products into Nigeria because of what the situation we're having in the country now. Remember, Dangote refinery is now on stream, is operational, and the government indeed is also working to bring some refineries back into operation in the country. So they're looking into new areas, and one of them is the agriculture. This country is doing pretty well in agriculture, high-tech agriculture for that matter, and As a matter of fact, they are the second largest agricultural exporter in the world. So this presents another opportunity for Nigeria that is now willing to invest massively into agriculture. We spoke to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, on what Nigeria can leverage in this regard.
They have something referred to as the Golden Triangle. So the triangulation of research and development, business, and government. So this is something that, you know, we can leverage off of, because we have this trading relationship, trading and investment going on, so we can strengthen it and increase it.
Now, despite the long-standing relations between Nigeria and the Netherlands, there has not been a basic structure needed for the coordination of the cooperation between the two countries in form of a joint bi-national commission agreement to coordinate the affairs. Now, at ministerial level, this issue has come up and is been discussed. Now it is expected that as the two leaders of these countries meet this Thursday, this will be one of the issues to be discussed. Foreign Affairs Minister also spoke to this.
The advantage of having a binational commission is the fact that it's more structured and it's, you know, it's formalized. Instead of just private sector doing their thing, you can also bring in government support to localize some of the activities. Instead of just exporting raw materials to them, we will add value by processing some of these exports locally in Nigeria, which creates the jobs that we need for our growing population and our youth.
Now, apart from the meetings coming up between President Bola Tinubu and the Prime Minister, is also going to meet the King as well as the Queen. But after that, there's going to be a Nigeria-Dutch business forum where investors in these two countries will meet and will interface, and President Bola Tinubu is expected to declare that open. Presidential advisor on media and publicity, Ajurin Gulale, spoke to us earlier about the priority of Nigeria in this regard.
The core of it is ensuring that whatever investments are coming into the country are in those labor-intensive sectors that will ultimately touch the life of every individual Nigerian citizen. He doesn't want you know, these maybe large-scale capital investments necessarily alone that will be within sectors that are not labor intensive, you know, sectors like oil and gas, sectors like telecoms and some of the others. Those are good. They're important investments. We welcome that money, but he really wants to key into those labor intensive sectors where we can put millions of our people to work on farms across the country with mechanical instrumentation to effectively ensure that their yields are more with less work because of the technological efficiency of the products and instruments that our farmers will be using. And then, of course, the quality of seedlings, making sure that our yields and our produce meets international standards, so that when we want to export, we're not being outcompeted by nations that have higher quality seedlings and higher quality soils and the like.
So with all of this coming up on Thursday, the cooperation, the relations between Nigeria and the Kingdom of Netherlands is expected to grow stronger, and the agreements updated to become more handsome and, of course, more rewarding for both countries.
Musbao, many thanks for that. We look forward to what you'll be reporting for us in the course of the President's itinerary there in Amsterdam. Thanks, Musbao. State House correspondent Musbao Danmahab. In the meantime, the federal government has advised the nation's judiciary to embark on reforms that would ensure a functional justice system that will guarantee basic human and political rights of individuals and provide security. Vice President Kashim Shettima gave the charge when he declared open the National Summit on Justice 2024 held at the National Judicial Institute. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
The first call by the executive to the judicial officers is to align their activities within the tenets of the Renewed Hope agenda, expressing determination to implement policies and promises made to Nigerians. Vice President Kashim Shettima outlined measures put in place to reposition the judiciary to include full complement of the 21 justices of the Supreme Court as required by the law for the first time after many years, and substantial increase in the salaries and emoluments of judges, which is currently undergoing legislative action.
I am, however, not oblivious to the successes and various achievements recorded by justice sector institutions. In this regard, I am fully aware of the long-fought battle and efforts of the Federal Ministry of Justice, which saved the nation from huge financial indebtedness and international embarrassment. I have also noted achievements in the area of legislative reforms, which resulted in the nationwide adoption of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act laws, as well as the nationwide adoption of the Child Rights Act, the enactment of the Police Act and related reforms.
The Vice President said the justice sector leaders and professionals need to find the right responses to the challenges faced through policy innovation and citizen-centered reform. He urged the leadership of all justice sector institutions to seek a new direction and focus on the outcomes of the summit by creating a justice system that truly responds to the needs of Nigerians. Senate President Godswill Akpabio commended the commitment of all stakeholders in the justice sector in building a consensus that will ensure a robust judicial system that guarantees justice for all, irrespective of background and social status.
We are committed to budgeting for the implementation of judicial reforms that will include the adoption of digital tools to manage cases more effectively and ensure that justice is neither delayed nor denied. The journey requires collective efforts. So I call upon all stakeholders here today, including my colleagues in both chambers, and including the executive branches, as well as the states, particularly with the presence of the chairman of the Governors Forum, because if the states do not concur, we cannot have any major reform in the Constitution.
The revised draft national policy on justice is aimed at building a national consensus on the advancement of the justice sector towards constitutional, statutory and operational reforms, which is imperative in meeting the aspirations and yearnings of the general public. In Abuja, Abrahaman Jibrila, NTA News.
Minister of Arts, Culture and Creative Economy, Hannatu Musa Musawa, is optimistic that ongoing interventions by the current administration will reposition the creative industry to becoming Nigeria's highest national and foreign exchange earner. Addressing the 2024 retreat of the ministry and its agencies, the minister reiterated the ministry's targets of creating 2 million jobs by 2027 and significantly stepping up its contribution to the nation's GDP to $100 billion by 2030. Kimberly Williams reports that the theme of the retreat is driving creativity and innovation towards Destination 2030.
Minister of Arts, Culture and Creative Economy, Hannatu Musa Musawa, has been unrelenting about the potentials of the creative industry in Nigeria and her determination to develop it. It is in this respect that the ministry and its agencies are deliberating to develop strategies towards realizing the ministry's roadmap. The minister noted that Nigerian creatives around the world are excelling and said that the ministry is set to become a beacon of creativity, innovation and inclusion. She stressed that arts, culture and creative sectors are critical drivers of the economy and reviewed the progress made in positioning the sectors to perform optimally, including the development of a regulatory and legal framework. The minister spoke on the activation of CLAP, a job creation initiative for young people.
We have a fantastic initiative, CLAP, that will be able to it will be a convergence point whereby people within the creative industry can come and they'll be able to be fitted in the right form in terms of how we place them for job placements on a national, continental and international perspective before the second week of May.
the special advisor to the president on policy and coordination, Hadiza Bala Usman, who was represented, assured of government support for the ministry's initiatives, noting that the creative sector is a fountain of opportunities.
We can join hands, hearts and minds, and forge a path towards a future where creativity knows no bounds.
ICPC Chairman Dr. Musa Adamu Aliyu, in a message he sent to the retreat, warned against corrupt practices in the conduct of government business. The two-day retreat is a platform for the ministry and its agencies to access its activities and chart a course for the attainment of the deliverables expressed in its performance bond. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
That's all we have time for on the News at 10 on NTA News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adegunloye. We'll have an update at the top of the hour.